The following is a presentation of the Sports Stove Media in partnership with Belly Up Sports. Here's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Local Hour. We are in the final week of the regular season, and we are talking EKU's win over Austin Peay and their upcoming win over North Alabama. We got great guests with Payton Collins and Marvion Field coming on as well. That's what's cooking on today's Sports Stove Local Hour.
McKinney looks, steps into pocket, throws, open receiver, touchdown! Colonels, we're not done yet!
Our identity is we're going to press for 40 minutes, we're going to play up-tempo, we're going to play with unbelievable passion, and then our brand is the most exciting 40 minutes in sports.
Welcome in to an all-new edition of the Sports Stove Local Hour presented by Righteous Felon Jerky. Join the flavor revolution at righteousfelon.com. Use the promo code STOVE15 at checkout to get, actually, it's 20% off right now. We still use the same code, but it's 20% off. What a deal. Go check it out. Great stocking stuffers and great for Thanksgiving snacks as well. So make sure you check that out. It's a Thursday night, which means it's time to talk EKU football. I'm Vince Stover, joined as I am each week by the one and only Jonathan Duff. How you doing, man?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome. I put it out there on Twitter. It's a Sports Stove Thursday. Rhino had the lunch this afternoon with Coach Wells. You were on the Thursday night at the Apollos or Thursday night at Apollos, and then we got the Sports Stove here tonight as well. So we're just going to take over Thursdays right now.
Oh yeah, nothing better than that.
So make sure you get your popcorn popped and you're ready for a great show because we got plenty of things to talk about tonight. And we'll start with last week's win over Austin Peay. And I had basketball games on Saturday, and so we got done with our games and got in the vehicle. And got in the vehicle, turned on. Actually, I gave my iPad to my kids in the back seat. I said, "Turn the game on." Turn it up, and we were out in Louisville, so they turned it on ESPN Plus, turned it up. We were just in time to catch the final regulation touchdown to tie the game, and then all of overtime, of course, as well. So we tuned in just in time for the best part of the game. So tell me about it, because I didn't get to watch it. I tried to go back and watch it, and ESPN Plus didn't have it available for me to do so. So tell me about because early on, you guys were taking a little bit of a beating.
Yeah, no lack of excitement in that game, that's for sure, as far as the ending and all of that. But obviously got off to a slow start, and we can't have that moving forward, and we know that, and we've gone over all the things that we need to do to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. But real rough start. But what we've talked about all year is the culture of the guys in the locker room, and you go into halftime, you make the adjustments, and just like I said, the culture we have, pick each other up, get ready to go. We've had our backs against the wall for quite some time right now, trying to go 1-0 each week. And so I think it was just another instance of this team having our backs against the wall, but we're never going to quit. And so everyone came out firing on all cylinders. It really starts with the defense, holding them to like 70-something yards in the entire second half and overtime is an incredible feat. And so really they got the ball rolling, made sure they didn't get very many first downs at all, and then shut them out there until that field goal when they were already in field goal range in overtime. And then offense, they did what they had to do to get back in the game and ultimately take the lead and win the ball game. And so it was a great team effort there in the end. Obviously, we all shot ourselves in the foot in various instances, but just kind of a really defining win to show what this team is about. We don't let down, and we're here to go 1-0 every week.
Yeah, a truly balanced attack this week as well. Of course, Josh was still amazing, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. That run to seal the win the game. Again, I'm listening to it because I'm driving. And of course, then that we're listening to the Austin Peay announcers, and they were going nuts about it. They sounded very young, but they did a good job. And they got excited about that run. And then of course I went back and watched the highlights on social media and stuff as well. And a phenomenal run to cap off a great night for Josh. Marcus Cowwise continues just to be just stud. I was sitting here, I pulled up the roster on Sunday and was kind of looking. I was looking through the seniors to see who all was graduating. We wanted to get some seniors on the show tonight. and was looking through that a little bit. I started looking. I was like, man, if everybody comes back, like there is some incredible talent on this team right now. And Marcus Cowwise Jr. is a kid that I am going to beg and plead to stay here and keep playing here. And if he gets a great opportunity, good for him. But man, he's such a good football player, and he's obviously proven himself time and time again, back to back, rookie of the weeks and freshman of the week, whatever you want to call him. And man, he's just doing some crazy stuff for you guys.
Yeah, he's not really a freshman. He's not the average freshman. We've talked about that before about some people in the past, but he came on campus and immediately was making an impact, and everyone knew it. And so he just only improves every week and just shows how reliable he is. Led us in receiving again as a freshman. That's pretty crazy. So just proves the point he's not a freshman. But yeah, he stepped up big, and really, like you said too, Josh Carter. We all want to call him the best running back in the UAC. I think he proves it week in and week out.
Yeah.
He gets through those tackles and, just wills his way to the end zone every game.
Yeah. If he's not the top, he deserves the recognition of finalist. It's one of those things, you look at Heisman trophies and, to be in that final three is a pretty big deal. And I know that maybe, top running back in the UAC isn't the Heisman, but he deserves to be in that conversation for sure. He's been phenomenal. He's been a huge part of this team and the success this team has had, of course, as well. And again, I'm only looking at stats, but Matt, 21 of 30, he got the touchdown, 230 yards. He did have the one pick. But those are the numbers you can live with. That's good. It's not bad. I didn't see the interception, so I don't know what that looked like. But if Matt's throwing for 230 and Josh is running for 115, you're going to have a pretty good outcome most of the time, I'd say.
Definitely. And we talk about, like I just said, Josh Carter will to get to the end zone. Matt Morrissey has a will to win. And, he wants it more than anyone else. And so I've talked about it before, not only in the passing game, he did what he needed to get done to help us win that ball game. But when it comes to just settling the offense, being a leader, and also throwing blocks for Josh every now and again now, and then running the football also. He really does everything that we need to have that spark or whatever it is at the time. He feels that need and really just makes sure that he wills us to victory.
From the defensive side, 6 tackles for loss, only 1 sack in the game. But obviously the numbers don't matter as long as the win's there at the end. Like you said, they shut them out in the second half. They did what they had to do in overtime, hold them to just a field goal. Mm-hmm. And, they had 6 pass breakups as well. Rhino got his hands on a ball. I saw the pictures on that one. Jaheim, Cam, and Jordan as well. So you see all that going down. So, again, this is why I prefer to be at the game, because the stats, they don't tell you the whole story. But tell me about the defense there, especially in the second half, because when you see only 1 sack, you think, oh, man, they didn't get to the quarterback. But, you're talking about shutting guys down. Tell me what it looked like there in person.
Yeah, it was just a group effort. It was a dominant defense. To give up 70 yards or whatever it was in an entire half and overtime is remarkable. And so, like you talked about, the batted balls and all that, tight coverage everywhere in the second half. The adjustments that needed to be made at halftime were made, and everyone responded well to them. We got good leadership in the back end there, starting off with Mike Smith Jr., and then you got Jaheim there, and then the corners, Vito and Jordan Thomas. They've been on quite the island this year, and I think they've all been up to the task. And so that's one big thing. And then we've talked about the young linebackers, Maddox and Sullivan, just tackling machines right there and playmaking machines. And then the D-line's just sound. The 70-something yards, that means there were no gaps to run in. So even though there was no sacks, there was no gaps to run in. And also want to make sure to say Cam Jr. did a phenomenal job. He's been playing some of his best ball lately, and it's a big reason why the defense has been balling out.
Well, it's awesome, and I hate not being able to see games, and especially when I'm talking about them, I hate that aspect of it for sure. But so happy for you guys to get that win coming down now to the final week. I did reach out to Sam Herder and asked him to come on the show this week. He was unable to. His schedule, he had a lot of stuff going on this week and just couldn't make it work. Because I wanted to ask, because I got asked about, just the rankings and how in the world is Tarleton still ahead of you guys and all that kind of stuff. There's I think anytime you have rankings, there's going to be questions and disagreements. But I'm excited for you guys, excited where you're at, because obviously a win this week, I think, just seals the deal. Nothing to worry about. You guys can sleep easy on Saturday night with a win and knowing that you got another game coming after that. So talk about all that pressure. Earlier in the season, you guys got your second loss in the conference, and it really was like, okay, you just can't lose now. Now you're coming down to the last one. There's going to be emotions in this game. Last time running down the hill, last time coin toss at home at Roy Kidd Stadium, all these finals this week. How do you think you guys are going to be able to handle that emotion and really playing a very good team that going into the year, I don't think most of us thought North Alabama was going to be this good, and they've turned out to be a pretty decent team. So have you guys talked through that? Have you talked to other people that's done it in the past? Like, how are you going to handle the emotions of it?
Definitely, we talk as a team just about distractions in the upcoming week, and with senior day and different things like that, you got all these people in town and different things. So you always address the distractions and just make sure everyone's on the same page that, certain things are distractions and we have a goal this week and we have our focus on this. And so just make sure you block that out until after the game. Then you can go celebrate with those people or whatever you may. But yeah, I think too, it's just going along with the theme of the year. We turned the corner once we had one of those players only meeting and just say, hey guys, like, we know what we got to do. And the message has been the same throughout, is go 1-0 each week. So we know that there's all this possibility or whatever around us, but I think just the maturity of this group and the way that we've been battle tested, I mean, like we've said, backs against the wall. I think we just know that we just got to go in and attack this week just like every other week. We've been blocking out distractions and noise and different people saying whatever they want to say as far as just we're in a tough position, and we've fought ourselves to this point to make sure that we're in a good position. And so now we just got to go keep handling business and then let the cards fall as they may.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. We'll talk more about it here in the coming minutes. And we're going to go ahead and bring in our first guest of the night. He is a team captain, is one of the more mature people on the team, have been around a while. He's the offensive lineman, left tackle, Payton Collins, going to join the show now. Payton, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys? Thanks
doing awesome. Doing awesome. Did you know that this Saturday, November the 23rd, is the exact date of your first ever game playing at EKU?
Is it really?
According to your biography, you played in one game, season finale, Jacksonville State, on November 23rd, 2019.
Oh, yeah. I was on I got put on the field goal team the last 2 weeks of the year. Yeah, I think I got in the week before. It was a home game. But yeah, it was around that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go. Right on it. And now you get to end your regular season. We'll clarify that. And a regular season final game this weekend. Man, what does it feel like? I mean, you came in 2019 and we're 2024 now. And I mean, to be at this point in your college career, what's it feeling like?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's been a long time because it certainly has, but no, I mean, I don't even know if it has even hit me yet. I don't think it will until, maybe after senior day and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of emotions, but I was listening for a little bit, but like Duff said, you just kind of got to block out the distractions as much as you can. Cause there's a lot, it's the next game of the season, but obviously there's, a lot at stake, and protecting the Roy Kidd Stadium at home and stuff like that, and getting to 8 wins in the season, which would be huge. But there is a lot of emotions, but they're all good, and I'm excited to share those emotions with all the seniors and stuff like that.
Does it help you think, to kind of gone through it with Dak, and with your longtime quarterback that you protected for so long? I mean, does you think maybe it'll help you coming into this, even though it's technically the first time you're going through it personally? You've been through it with guys who've had, been around for a long time also, and a lot of emotion in those final games. Yeah.
And, especially in like the 2022 season when, we kind of had the same, potential. Oh, if we win this, we could be looking at extending our season. And, there were seniors on that team too. And yeah, I thought they handled it like really well, And yeah, I'm just going to try to do the same thing that they did, keep the emotions in check, and just do what we got to do.
Well, and congrats, by the way. They announced it today that you got the invite to go down to Orlando in January, get to show off in front of some scouts some more and everything like that. How excited are you about I know we're still focused on the final game here, the regular season and the playoffs to come, but that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I'm very excited about that, and hopefully we'll just be getting done playing January 6th in Texas. Yeah, hopefully we'll just be getting done with that, and then I can just go on over there in a couple of days. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Do you still keep up? I'm assuming with Josiah some and kind of just his experience of post college and that process and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get some advice from him for sure. And he was actually just in town a couple of days ago. He's on his bye week for the Saints,
Yeah.
so I think he's gonna be at the game this weekend as well. So
Nice.
yeah, no, I definitely still talk to him and try to learn from him as well. Because yeah, I mean he's where everyone wants to be, and striving to get to. So yeah.
Yeah. Talk about this season. I know I've talked about it throughout this year on the show, just how impressive it's been to watch the veterans of the team just take control, keep everybody where they needed to be, really from day one. Like when I saw you guys back in the summer, I was just really impressed by how positive all the veterans were about the young guys and about what the season was going to look like ahead. And you guys went through some adversity this year, and it seems like, at least from the outside looking in, that you veterans have done a great job of keeping everything under control. And obviously the coaches have too, but I feel like it's on you guys a lot for how you've been able to hold the team together.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with how we practice. And I feel like, as an outsider, if you were to come watch our practice during the week, I feel like you wouldn't even be able to tell if we had just won the week before or lost the week before. Because I think, Coach Wells and the staff do a great job of just, doing this next game mentality. And, once Monday's meetings are over, we flush it and stuff like that. And, like, to be honest, like, obviously we're on a 4-game win streak, but, like, we still practice the same way. Like, we're still all very positive. So, like, I feel like we were the same way when we lost 2 in a row versus winning 4 in a row. Like, it's the next game up, next game mentality. And yeah, I mean, we're just going to keep stacking days and just keep our eyes on the prize and don't look up because we're almost there. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Duff, what do you got for Payton?
Yeah, I got one. I can't believe I've never asked you this question before because you're the only person that has been here longer than my class. And so we were Wells's first recruiting class, but you were there for the coaching change and Wells's first ever team meeting. So now go back 20 years or however long you've been here, and because you're the only one I can make that joke to, but go back and think about back to that first meeting and tell me what that was like and just kind of like how the culture and the tone that he set then has come true.
Yeah, it was it was scary. I'm not gonna lie. I just finished my first semester in the fall and coming back for the spring with a whole new coaching staff. And really my first memories are when we started the fourth quarter program, the off season, that first fourth quarter. And yeah, just Coach Losey and Coach Wells and stuff. And they were definitely trying to set the tone and, scare off some people who maybe, weren't ready for what that staff was going to bring in and stuff and the mentality. So yeah, it was definitely a culture shock for sure. Yeah.
I've enjoyed talking. So we're working on a documentary on Matt Jackson's life and career so far. And so I got to talk to some of the old coaching staff in that process of recording for that podcast. And, I'm intrigued that you guys that, stuck around and you went through that change. I know even back then the portal wasn't as big as it is now, of course. What did you have the option to leave? Did you consider leaving? Like, what was that like when you had Coach Wells come in, the new staff come in, and you kind of had to decide if you were still in the right spot?
No, when they first came in, no, I mean, transferring never even entered my mind, to be honest. EKU is my only offer. And, even though it wasn't Coach Wells' staff, I don't know, I liked EKU and I chose EKU for a reason. And I just felt like, especially at that time, it was just too early to transfer.
Yeah.
like I said, EKU was my only offer, so it's not like I was gonna hit up the other schools that offered me, be like, "Hey, I'm entering the portal." So there was really nowhere for me to go, to be honest. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, but I'm guessing there has been options since then. And you've watched some of your teammates choose to go other places, and you've seen other ones that have stuck around. What I mean, where is that loyalty come from for you? Like, why did you stick around all the way to the end?
yeah. I mean, like I said, it was my only offer, but also just how my family is and how my parents are, and just my dad always told me to stick things out and stuff. And Coach Wells would always, he would always put on like the team meeting after. He's like, "Those who stay will be champions," and
Yeah.
I always liked that message. And also too, I think people don't always realize the grass
Yeah.
isn't always greener, and that's a saying that always would ring in my mind when I ever thought about transferring, which I really was never really a thought ever in my
Yeah.
mind. People would always come up to me and be like, "Oh, I thought you would have transferred," and I just kind of look at them like, "Huh?" Like, "No, I'm good." Like, yeah, I like it here. So, yeah,
Yeah. And it's funny. Some of the guys that have left, again, no hard feelings towards them. They felt it was best for them and they did it. At least that's my opinion, at least. But very few of them have really left for better options. Some of them have. Some of them got some really good opportunities. What Jaden Higgins is doing at Iowa State's incredible. That's cool to see and whatnot. But I don't know. The more that I've talked with you guys over the last couple of years, especially doing the Matt Jackson documentary, I've learned, man, it just seems like it makes sense for a whole lot of people to stick where they are, trust the system, play it out. And now you've seen teammates like Matt, TK, Josiah. Now, they're at the next level. And when you're looking at what comes next for you, does that just give you that much more confidence to know I've done what I can do? I've also seen my teammates here at EKU go on to that next level and just kind of build your confidence in that way.
yeah, especially as an offensive lineman. You know, the year before my senior year, we had an offensive lineman get drafted.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like you can't make it to the league at EKU being an offensive lineman. So
Yeah.
that obviously loomed large for me. And yeah, also too, I think people don't always realize like there's a lot more aspects than just football. Like if you have
Yeah.
a happy life where you are and like you love the people around you, I think people need to consider that more when they think about transferring. And not just look at the football aspect of it.
Yeah, shout out to Ryan Jackson's dad, who always says play where they love you. And
Yes,
and
yes.
you see it at EKU. I see it at least with you guys. Every player we've talked to about why'd you come to EKU, they always say, man, I don't know, it just felt right. Like this felt like family here. And it's consistent across the board.
Mhm.
And I think that is an important message for young guys to say, hey, if they love you, like
Yeah,
it's probably worth sticking it out. And again, there's a
yeah,
few that will have opportunities that make sense, maybe to go and create bigger opportunities. But for the most part, it seems like the guys that have left haven't, they could have stayed here and accomplished the same thing or more if they'd stayed. Anyways, my thoughts aren't important on this subject. Duff, what else you got for Payton?
Yeah, Coach Wells having an offensive line background, and I know he sits in all the time on your guys' meetings and is always talking to you guys during practice and watching you guys. How valuable has that been to have a head coach that has the O-line the background pouring into you guys?
yeah. It's been super valuable. Especially with his history of coaching. He's been at some huge places and he's coached like a lot of guys in the league. I mean, one of them right now that I think of is Trey Smith, who he coached at Tennessee, and he's probably a top 3 guard in the league right now for the Kansas City Chiefs. But yeah, like I remember one spring where Coach Losey had COVID. Coach Wells was our coach for a couple weeks, and that was very interesting. um, Being an old school coach and stuff. But yeah, no, it's been super valuable because he just has so much knowledge and different techniques that he can teach you and stuff like that. And yeah, it's been awesome with him having an O-line background for sure.
That's good.
We talked about this at the beginning of like back in the summer. But Losey's gone. They bring in Coach Rav and he's here and it's a new voice. And we've had several new voices on the staff this year. Now that you've been through the season with a new coach, really one of the, I guess, the second time in your college career, what has it been like to go through a whole season with that new voice in the locker room?
Yeah, well, technically my third O-line coach. I had
Okay.
Coach Ho for my first season. But yeah, I did not expect to get a new O-line coach after Coach Lozzi. I thought I would finish it out with him. But no, I mean, Coach Rad's been great, honestly. Like I'm really glad that he is at EKU, and he's definitely a different style of coach than Coach Lozzi, but I mean, both styles are really great. And yeah, I mean, Coach Ravela is a great person and a great leader, and yeah, I think he's going to be at EKU for some time for sure.
And then I talk a lot of O-line because I have lunch every Monday with the former UK O-lineman. And so we talk about this more than I ever thought I would talk about offensive line. But you guys got some young guys on the line this year. We see a freshman now starting there. You've got some different age groups now going as well. And again, I was looking at the roster thinking, man, we're going to graduate some really good players again, but there's some really young, looks like really solid talent on this team and depth at the O-line. When you leave, what kind of position do you think the O-line is in after you're gone?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a younger O-line, but I mean, this freshman offensive line class is by far the most talented I've ever seen. Like it's crazy how much talent is in that freshman O-line group, and they're all just going to continue to grow and develop and mature. And yeah, I mean, they're going to be really good players for sure. Way better than me or John, Vinny. Yeah, they're going to be really good.
Duff, anything else for Payton?
Yeah, I don't know why I just thought of this, but maybe a bad question. But is there one summer workout or spring conditioning that just stands out as as story time? What's the worst workout that we've had?
One of them, for me is actually the first summer with the new Coach Wells coaching staff, and it was actually, for some reason, we got back for the summer, but then we had to quarantine for like 2 weeks. Then we got right back to the workouts, and it was it was terrible. And we had to wear the scarf mask, and we couldn't breathe, and they were just going at us and pretty much just trying to get us to quit. And I remember Tex Bailey, RIP to a great person, but he was in a full body cramp. Like it was bad. So that was definitely not a fun workout.
It's probably top for me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I got two more for you, Payton. I haven't asked this one to anyone yet. Do you have any regrets? Is there something you look back on and go, man, if I could just have done that differently, or something like that, where you look back and go, obviously you don't regret your career or anything like that, but do you have anything that you look back on and think, man, if I could have done one thing different, this is what I would have done?
Well, yeah, actually, it's more academic, but I might have done a different major. I did business, and I'm going to be getting my MBA as well, which is going to be awesome. But it was all just kind of very boring. So I maybe studied something where I actually liked it, and not just get through it. So yeah, maybe done a different major, but that's about it. Yeah.
And then the last question I have, and I would only ask this to you, Payton, and I would ask it to Duff and Rhino too, but I wouldn't put anybody else in this question, and you don't have to answer it if you don't want to. All right, and I never want to get you guys in trouble, and I don't think this will get you in trouble at all. But coming into this season, there was a lot of speculation that Coach Wells was coaching for his job, and you've been here with him the entire time that he's been here now. Do you feel like what you guys have been able to do this year has either saved or secured, maybe be a better word for it, Coach Wells' future here? Because I mean, new athletic director, immediately that spawns more, interest into this. What could happen? Does he want to get his own guy? Those kinds of things. But I really feel, my personal opinion is you guys have saved Coach Wells' job, or at least secured it to go forward. Was that on your mind at all this year? And I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is going to be my last year at EKU, so I can't say it was on my mind too much, but I mean, I think Coach Wells does a great job with the culture of this program, and I mean, I think you can see throughout the year, we've had adversity and stuff like that, and yeah, I think we battled all year, and especially losing some players from last year and stuff, like especially obviously the big question mark like Parker McKinney and stuff, and yeah, I mean we're 7-4 right now, and we beat 2 ranked teams in a row, and yeah, I mean I think Coach Wells does a great job, and he can be tough on people and tough on the staff and the players and stuff, and he demands a lot out of people, but in order to be successful, you have to demand a lot out of people at certain times. So yeah, no, he's a great coach, and I respect him a lot, and yeah, he should definitely be the coach moving forward.
Awesome, man. I appreciate that answer. Like I said, that's not a normal question that I ask on here, but you've been around long enough. I figured you were man enough to handle it. Payton, I'm so proud of you, man. I'm excited for you, for the opportunities that'll come after the season. But obviously, what we care about the most is what goes on this Saturday and getting that final win at North Alabama. How many family do you have coming to this game?
Just my immediate family, my mom, dad, older brother, younger sister. Yes.
Okay. Any of the old crew coming back for you? You gonna have Parker here? You gonna get Drew Hart or somebody like that?
Oh yeah. No, there'll definitely be some old. Yeah, actually, one of them staying at my house right now, Juan Delatorre. He played a couple years ago, so yeah, there'll be some people here for sure. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Well, congrats on a great career. We know it's not done yet, and congrats on the season so far and the recognition that you're receiving. And we're excited about the opportunities ahead for you as well. So, Payton, I appreciate you coming on, man, and taking some time for us tonight.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, no problem. Payton Collins.
So
left tackle. He protected Parker for many years. He's protecting Matt now, and maybe very soon protecting an NFL quarterback on a TV near you as well. So that was fun. And like I said, I'm always careful of the questions I ask, but I felt like Payton was somebody I could ask that question to, for sure. All right, let's bring in guest number 2 of the night. He's on the other side of the ball, the defensive line. He's the one and only Marvion Field. How you doing, Marv?
Doing good, man. Appreciate y'all having me on. What's going on, Duff?
Yeah.
What up, Big Marv?
Hey, tell me about, and listen, this has been up until Duff came on the show earlier this season, this has been a defensive line heavy show because we had Rhino on all the time. So I really feel like I know a lot about you, even though we've never really talked face to face or anything like that. But I just love the camaraderie that the defensive line has. I know the team gets along really well as a whole, but man, that D-line room just seems like it would be really cool to be a part of. So what's it been like another year with these same guys and just being able to kind of build off of that, knowing each other so well?
Oh, man, it's been good. Like, it's honestly been great. I couldn't thank Coach Wells more for, letting me be a part of this program and letting me be a part of this group. And, being the oldest guy in the group, it's kind of like you like the big brother and, all that kind of deal. But, everybody's equal in this room. So it really makes it fun. We got young guys that were playing this year. We got older guys. It's just been, all over the place. But, the one thing I noticed is that everybody in the room is always ready to work. We have our times. We play around, we goof around. That's just defensive line stuff. If you're not a defensive lineman and you're not goofing around, I don't know how much fun you having. But, being around these guys, we truly lock it in. When it's time to lock in, we do our job. And, we got great leaders, especially with Ryan and D-Bake. So, it's just been good with that and everything. So, I really appreciate it. And I've really been enjoying my time, especially these past 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like the room, you do have some young guys, but it's mainly vets. And I feel like that has to make it a little bit different. You can mess with each other because you're all kind of on that similar level for the most part. And, we've talked with D-Bake, I think was the one that said it about Jeremiah. He wasn't a freshman when he came in. He was a grown man when he came in. So you guys are all there, and maybe you don't have that same vast level of maturity levels as some of the other position groups have as well. And I mean, you talk Gabe Fletcher. I mean, there are some guys in that room that are characters, needless to say, for sure. So yeah, man, I mean, you're going to go out last regular season game. Correct. This is you don't have any eligibility left, right?
Yes, sir. This is it for me.
Yeah. So, I mean, what's the emotion like getting ready for that final regular season game?
I mean, it's a ton of emotion. I mean, that's all good emotions, though, of course.
Yeah.
Like, but it's a ton of emotion. Like, I've been doing this for so long, it feels like, and being at two different universities, and this being my second one, and it feels like I've been here for 4 years. So it's like it's just hard to go out there and really like just fathom the fact that this is going to be my last time in Roy Kid Stadium. But I just know for sure the one thing is I just want to make sure we win because being undefeated in that stadium, that's going to be that's just going to be a big memory in my life that I'm always going to hold on to, being on this 2014 that was able to accomplish that goal, and then we want to accomplish more after this, of course. So it's a ton of emotion going into it, but the one thing I know I'm just ready for it. I'm just ready to go play.
Tell me about a little bit about the changes this year. You got a new position coach this year, new D-line coach, and Coach Johnson changed up the scheme a bit as well. So I could be wrong, but you're kind of playing a different role than what you played last year, right?
Yes, sir. It's been good with Coach Mathis. Honestly, he came in and he's much like Coach Wells. Like they cut from the same cloth. He demands a ton, and we're willing to give it to him, and I think the results have been shown this year, especially with the older guys like Ryan Jackson, D-Bake took off this year, and Jeremiah, and obviously my role has been different at the start of camp. I actually got hurt, so I was out for a couple weeks, and then when I came back, the D line room we had obviously shifted a little bit, to fix the problems and everything. But when I came back into the nose guard role behind Rhino, it's been good. It's been productive for me as well. I'm just the kind of guy that like I'm trying to do whatever it is for the team that's gonna help us win. Like, whatever my role may be, I know it might not be the most ideal role that I saw myself having, obviously at the beginning of camp, but we're winning, and I enjoy being a part of a winning culture, especially whenever you're doing your part to help us win, and I can't thank Coach Mathis more for giving me opportunity and putting me in position to be successful even at a different position. So it's just been good, and it's been a roller coaster ride, but I'm still riding, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, definitely. Duff, what do you got for Marvion?
Marv, obviously you've been here for 2 years, but you were at Elon for 4 years prior to that. And you played there as a true freshman. You played a lot of football in your career. So when you hit the portal, what were you kind of looking for in a school, and how did EKU kind of just find that? How did you find that here?
Well, it's crazy enough to think that before I actually found EKU, I was committed to Samford University in Alabama. So while I was committed there, obviously when I entered the portal, it was a good time at Elon, and I appreciate everything that Elon done for me, especially those coaches and the university. It was a great time, and when I entered the portal, I was mainly just really just looking for a place where I could, just become like a better player. Obviously, I wanted to become a better player, and I wanted to win games. Obviously, we won games at Elon, but I was looking to take a step further where I could be on the big stage and I could play against better competition, and obviously compete for a conference championship and a national championship. So I felt at the time that Samford was a good option for that because they were coming off of a SoCon championship, and I had guys that went there, and it was just it was a different situation obviously back then. But when I got a call from Coach Hart, who was the D-line coach at the time, he called me and he told me about what EKU was all about, and he sent me just different stuff and different guides on what the school was all about. And I kind of just like, it just flipped in my mind, like, man, like maybe I should take this visit and just see what it's all about. And then Coach Wells had called me later that afternoon, and this is what really got me. Is whenever he called me and he was like, yeah, man, I'm he's on vacation at the time. This was back in Christmas break, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm on vacation right now, but he's like, but did you know that your granddad works with my brother? And I'm like, I'm talking about my granddad on my dad's side works in at Riverdale High School. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I did know that I didn't know about his brother, his late brother. And it was interesting to me just because like I just found in my mind, I just thought like, dang, like God found a way for me to just, connect with a man like Coach Wells and Coach Hawk, who was from Georgia. And, I actually was recruited by Coach Hawk when I was in high school. So it was just a lot of things, a lot of factors that went into me, picking EKU. But it was mainly just the family aspect. I felt like whenever I got reached out to EKU, it really felt like I was getting reached out to by family. So I took the visit, and then the visit was a good one, obviously. And then it was I told Coach Hart that day. I said, "Man, you got me. I'm flipping my commitment right now. Like let's do it. Let's roll."
We're glad you flipped.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. For what it's worth, that means we're a little connected too, Marv. So I grew up in Murfreesboro. I didn't go to Riverdale, but when we went to go watch high school games, we always went to Riverdale because they had guys that were going D1 and all that kind of stuff too. And so that's where we spent all of our high school games watching. We're at Riverdale.
Okay, yeah. Well. So my dad's from Riverdale, or my dad's from Murfreesboro. He went to Oakland, so I'm familiar with all of that. All that Middle Tennessee area.
All the kids, I ran a youth group at a church in Tennessee for about 3 years, and all our kids went to Oakland. That's where all the kids went to that were in the youth group too. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, now you've been here. We get through the season. Again, this season has been well, let me ask you this. I haven't asked this to Duff yet either. Did last week's game feel kind of like a flashback? Just early on going, okay, it's going to be one of those games where we're going to fight. It's going to be a fight all the way to the end, and it gets down to the last play, overtime, all that kind of stuff. It feels like that was a little bit more common the last couple seasons than it has been this season, thankfully. But I mean, tell me about that performance, Marv. Last week, you guys, and this isn't the first week you guys have done this, second half shutout after the first half didn't go the way that everybody's hoping it was going to go. How has the defense been so stinking good this year?
Honestly, we just been locking in on our assignments. I think, we put a lot of hard work into what we do, especially just to start the year off. Like our Coach Wells' big emphasis was on finishing. So, obviously we didn't start the game how we wanted to. We can just, be honest with that. Like obviously defensively, we gave up too many points. Even after turnovers, like that's points we still can't give up. And we let them drive the field on us a couple times. And we gave up some explosives early on, and we didn't get any turnovers early on. So, it's a lot of things that we didn't do to start the game how we wanted to do. But the one thing we always harped on this year was finishing and just making sure that we have our eyes in the right place and that we do our job. And then we just don't watch the scoreboard, of course, because, 24-7 might look like it's over to a lot of people. But to us, we're not even seeing it like that. It's 0-0 whenever we come out at halftime. So, we took that mentality seriously, and it's been paying off for us this year, especially in that game. I feel like it really showed in the second half, like, when we just lock in and we just, put our heads down and just keep playing. And, obviously we got to just get the ball back to the offense and let them work. We got confidence in them just like they got confidence in us. So, that's our biggest thing. We lean on each other, and then whenever it's time to get the ball to the offense, they go do their jobs.
Awesome. Duff, what else you got?
Yeah, I actually got asked this question tonight at Apollo's, and I thought it was a good one. So I'm going to take it from Stoudemire. But, being an old guy and being a bunch of old guys in that room, a lot of veterans, a lot of people moving on after this season. How much time, or do you take time to kind of mentor the young guys, and what is that kind of for when they grow into the role here that you're in?
I mean, well, when I get the chance, I always try to, talk to the young guys, of course, but we got a pretty good, pretty mature group when it comes to our young guys. So, they got it pretty much figured out, but at the same time, you always think you got it figured out when you're that age. So, you got to just show them the way sometimes, and you just got to tell them, hey, like, you just lock in and, just trust the process. That's how I had to see it whenever I was their age. Like, maybe you were on scout team and, maybe you didn't get to play as much as you thought you would coming into school. And, you got class and stuff bearing down on you, and, everything's just hitting you at one time. But, like, really you just got to trust the process. Like, that's what it all comes down to. it's rough patches in this, and when you're a young buck, it's gonna feel like it's rough. But really, whatever it is you're going through is just gonna make you better in the long run. So that's how I like to look at it, and I like to tell them, and they do a good job of listening, man. I mean, I feel like this young group we got is gonna be they're gonna be real whenever it comes to a year or two. I give it next year, man. It's none. This train ain't falling off the rails. Ain't no time soon. I tell you that much.
That's awesome.
The offense came into this year knowing that they were going to be without Parker. The defense came into this year, it felt like on this high with some of these guys that you guys had on the defense, and then you took some pretty big injuries. You missed a couple of weeks, but Kylan, I feel like Kylan's injury was the one that kind of rocked people the most. How much of this year has been not only playing for the guy next to you, but playing for the guys that can't be out there playing, guys like Kylan especially?
Man, I remember just going out at Mississippi State, and I wasn't playing that game, and we had a few other people that weren't playing, but that was the same week that Kylan actually got injured, and that shocked a big wave through the whole building, let alone just the defense. So whenever we were about to go out there for Mississippi State, he came and talked to us, and he's fired up. He has tears in his eyes because he want to be out there just as much as we do, and he knows just as much as we do that it could be taken away from you at any moment. So I feel like this year, like, we've been really trying to just play every snap like it's our last, because you never know when. Honestly,
Right.
You really just never know when. So we try to play every snap like it's our last, and we try to play for the man next to us, because we know that if we doing our job, that it's only making it easier for him. So that's all it really comes down to. You just gotta, it's tough to really see that. What I'm saying, it's really tough to experience those things, and I experienced it, but I was fortunate enough and blessed enough to be able to be back in position to be on the field. And I've obviously took that mentality seriously, because it could easily be anybody, just as well as it was as Kylan and Kyle Kelly and guys like that. And we really appreciate them, because they really set the standard for us. I really feel like, especially Kylan and that linebacker room, they really set the standard for us, and the identity of this defense and the culture of this defense. And we've been flying around, and it's not just a fluke, man. This is what we work for, and this is what we preached about all year. So those guys that that's sitting on the sideline, man, they got a huge part in this. You can almost put it on them for the reason that we doing all this.
Man, I love it. Duff, what else you got for Marv?
Yeah, I got a question for you, and that is, do we have a go-to sack celebration? Do we have a pre-planned sack celebration? Do they come on the spot? How does that work for you?
Sometimes it's pre-planned. I had one pre-planned this year. I did the little Superman, or just the cape throwback. But sometimes it's planned. Sometimes you just so fired up. You just keep it simple. You just show them your energy. Like, those are always good celebrations too. But but senior day tomorrow, I got something planned. I ain't gonna tell y'all what it is. Y'all just gonna have to see. I got something planned though.
We're ready for it.
Let's do it.
I want to know what your thoughts were the first time you heard the tradition of singing Cabin on the Hill.
Oh yeah. I've never been like a part of something like that. At Elon, we didn't have like a fight song or a chant song, like anything like that. We just, we sung after wins. Like, we never really had any kind of tradition like that. So, coming to a place where like there was just true tradition, especially like, going back to the Roy Kidd era and seeing all of that and all his accomplishments that he had, it just feels like an honor to be able to sing that song after you win. Like, it's something special about it, man. And for the ones that want to be a colonel, what I'm saying, in the future, if you want to be a colonel, man, it ain't nothing like singing that song.
Yeah. That's awesome. Who's showing up for you this weekend? Who you got coming to the game?
I got mom, dad, I believe my grandma's coming, my girl's coming, and I'm not sure. Maybe my brother's coming or not. I'm not too sure yet. But it's about 4 or 5 of them for sure though.
Yeah. Mom and dad always there?
Oh yeah, they're always there.
Yeah.
They come to every game. They didn't miss a single game in 2 years.
Yeah. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Duff, anything else?
Nope. Just glad that Big Marv's with us. I think I'm with him too. It's crazy that you've only been here 2 years because it
Yeah.
feels like you've been here a lifetime.
No doubt, bro. Like it's a real special place, man. Like you can really fall in love with places. You know, you can really fall in love with the people and the places. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? And that's what EKU is all about. So I'm all with it.
100%.
Well, Marvion, I am glad that you came as well. It's been fun cheering you on. We're excited for this weekend, and hopefully our intention is not just this weekend, but weekends to follow as well. And looking forward to what is ahead also. And man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on the program tonight and sharing some of these stories with us as well.
I appreciate y'all for having me, man. It's gonna be a good one this weekend. I promise you that.
All right, I love it. All right, Marvion Field, defensive lineman, EKU, and boy howdy, it's been a fun group. I tell you, again, having Rhino on the show for 2 years and just kind of even outside of the show talking about the D line and stuff, I definitely kind of built a connection. They probably haven't felt it from me, but I felt it just kind of being invested a little bit into that room. And love Marvion. His dad is a listener of the program and appreciate him very much as well. And he interacts on social media with us too. And I've always appreciated that for sure as well. So Saturday is the big game, North Alabama Senior Day. I am not going to be there again because I got basketball games again. I don't know why Roan or Wells or whoever scheduled these games scheduled on the day that I was going to have basketball games. But we actually have a double header and we got 3-4 different teams playing. So it's nuts. Anyways, I'm going to have the phone out during the game as best as I can, watching and listening as well. I hate that I can't be there though, because I'm excited for you guys. Duff, I mean, last regular season game at the Kid, probably the last game at Roy Kidd Stadium. I would be surprised if it's not, or if it is, if it's not, but nonetheless, man, it's going to be exciting. I think the atmosphere is going to be great. I know there's going to be a lot of people there, fans, family members, alum that are going to be there to cheer you guys on as well. It's going to be a pretty cool atmosphere. Have you heard of alum that are going to be there?
Yes, I also have one that's going to be crashing at my couch, but I also know that Jeremy is flying in here soon off of his Grey Cup victory, and he's riding a high this week, so we'll see him, and he'll just continue a celebration here. And then we got a lot of alum coming in for our senior day, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's Jeremy, by the way, posted some pretty cool pictures today on social media as well, so with the celebration of the Grey Cup. That's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, that trophy was huge.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Austin Welsh to come back. I'm not sure it's going to happen, but put it out there. Breaking news. We'll see. Maybe another day. Maybe we can break some news another day. But Austin's back in the transfer portal after being at Kennesaw State this year as well. And man, it's just you start looking through this roster. You look at the list of seniors and the guys that have been here again. Even the guys that have been here a short time. It's still great careers here and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, there's so many of you guys that have been here for 4 or 5 and some 6 years. I know it's going to be a fun atmosphere this weekend for sure. And North Alabama, I mean, their last win was a huge one against Abilene Christian, and then they haven't won since. And they're going to want to play spoiler when they come in this weekend. What do you know about North Alabama that you can prepare us for this Saturday?
Well, like you said, they're a good football team, and that shows when they have a victory over the conference champion. Yeah. So, they're nothing to be taken lightly. They like to do a lot of kind of gimmicky stuff on offense and defense and special teams. The type of team that they are, they like to throw a lot of blitzes and twists on the defensive side. On offense, we just been preaching for their offense. They're going to have reverses and different kind of tricks like that up their sleeve. So defense just needs to have their eye discipline there and just do their job this week. And then special teams, we need to be ready for any surprises. They do that little muddle huddle a lot. They like to run those 2-point conversions. And so we got to be ready for that. And then any surprise onsides and stuff like that. So really it's just one of those gimmicky teams that you just got to watch for and make sure the big point of emphasis this week, as it is every week, but more so this week with that kind of stuff, is just make sure you're in watching film with your coach on your own and just make sure that you have everything down and that you're focused.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be the hardest part probably, is getting that focus, especially early on, right at kickoff and all that kind of stuff. It'll be the hardest moments, I would assume. But it's a big one. And this team, like you said, their record doesn't show it, but they are a good football team. And they had an incredibly tough schedule this year. Their losses at the beginning of the year was SEMO, Memphis, and then Illinois State, who's ranked. And so, those are some tough games, UT Martin as well. Then they got Tarleton and they lost to them as well before getting some conference wins. But again, 3-game skid: Central Arkansas, Austin P, and Southern Utah are their last 3 games. And hopefully you guys can send them out crying on the way home, as well, back to North Alabama. What are you looking forward to the most this week, Duff?
I don't know. I think nothing's really hit me yet as far as that emotion, but I think I'm just looking forward to I think I'm going to make sure that I just soak in every moment of running down that hill at Roy Kidd Stadium. I'm focused on this win and focused on the game. And so I'll kind of do a turn around and spin and look just in case it's the last time after the game, but focused on the game and just looking forward to being able to go out there again with the guys and fight our tails off.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. I think, that's the one that I come back to, even with Payton to some degree, even though, the guys from his class graduated last year, to be able to do it with a bunch of guys that you've been able to do it with for so long in this day and age of college football, that's a pretty cool thing. And I think that's awesome for you guys. And I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for you. Was this week better? Did you get beat up again this week, or was it a little better this past weekend?
No, it was a lot better. They weren't teeing off on me too bad. I'm trying to think. They threw in a couple blocks. They did try to do me dirty with a blindside block on one. We looked at the film. Coach Day gets the film like in real time on a tablet. He called me over on the sideline. He goes, "Hey, they try this again, just take it." I'm like, because I moved out of the way, and he wanted me to just step in front of this guy and just take it for the penalty. I'm looking at him like, "You take it," but I told him, I said, "Okay, yes, sir, I will."
Yeah.
But no, so they did a little something, but it wasn't too bad. I was relatively clean all day.
Yeah, I always laugh when I tell a kid to take a charge on basketball. I think to myself, oh well, I'm the one telling them. I'm not the one taking it. So
yeah,
it's crazy. Well, we got plans still. So next week we still plan to be back. Well, let's see here. Next week is Thanksgiving on Thursday, so we will not be having a show on Thanksgiving. I'll be a little busy stuffing my face, but we'll work out the details for the next program and make that happen. And then we've got some plans for once the season is done as well, for some special episodes before the Sports Stove Local Hour signs off for good as well. We got some fun stuff lined up, thanks to some local businesses helping us out to get this stuff accomplished as well. So that'll be a good time for sure. But all the focus now turns to Saturday, getting that final win, especially for those seniors as well. Will be great stuff. Congrats to Mike Smith also. He also, along with Payton, got the invite to the bowl down in Orlando, and so that's awesome for him. I know he had some preseason watch lists and things like that too, so great to see him continue to have a good final season here in Richmond as well. Follow us on social media at Sports Stove on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be announcing the next show whenever that is. And looking forward to that. Of course, next week, with it being Thanksgiving, we hope everybody gets to spend some time with some family and enjoy that time as well. We hope the football team does not. We hope they have to celebrate together. But everybody else get to spend time with family as well. But Duff, good luck this weekend, man. I really wish I could be there, but I'll definitely be cheering you on in spirit as best I can.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good one.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We sure appreciate you. And we thank Payton and Marvion for coming on tonight as well. Thank Isaac for helping us get that set up. Appreciate Righteous Felon Jerky and their support of the Sports Stove media family. And make sure you check them out. Stove15 is the code. You're getting 20% off right now with that code at righteousfelon.com. I'm telling you, it's the best jerky you've ever had. So make sure you check that out as well. If you're able to, come out Saturday, cheer on the Colonels. Until next time, we'll see you around the Sports Stove.